video. Today I am going to be doing an unhaul. So yesterday I went through my bookshelves and reorganized, and in doing so I had to get rid of some books, and so I don't know how many are in here, but I got rid of about a bag full of books. I don't know what I'm going to do with them exactly yet. Probably just try and turn them into half-price books for cash. I'm not sure any of them are worth anything because a lot of these are books I got for free from half-price books when I worked there last summer. We shall see. I thought I would share the books I unhauled during my spring cleaning. I don't know if I've ever done an unhaul on this channel, so this is kind of fun. I don't love getting rid of books just because I'm like, well, what if I did read it and I did like it? But my logic with a lot of these, if I ever have this need to read this book, I'll just go rent it at the library. So without further ado, let's get started and I'll let you know which books I am unhauling. First on the pile is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I bought this 3 Halloweens ago, and as with the intention to do a spooky Halloween read, and I never read it, and I probably won't read it, and if I do I can just rent the audiobook, so that one I figured I don't need it taking up space on my shelf. Next, this is a book I got for free, The Last Boy and Girl in the World, and I am just going to get rid of it because I don't recognize the author. I've never heard of the book, I've never heard of any reviews, and it doesn't exactly look like something that's right up my alley. I mean, it's published by Simon & Schuster, but I don't need it. If one day I hear someone really loved it and I should go read it, I'll go look it up and try and rent it or something, but it didn't seem like I needed it. Next, The Highland Guardian by Amy Jarrecki. I did read this and I did really like it. It was a fun little read. I just don't think I need to own it. I know that if I want to read some romance books, I do like this author. I will probably rent some other books by her. This one, I legit bought this book as a joke because the cover is a little silly, I think we can all agree, but I ended up really enjoying the content on the inside. I thought it was a really solid romance book. I just don't need to own it on my shelf. Plus, because it's a mass market paperback, it doesn't really go anywhere on my shelf in a way that looks normal, so I'm just gonna unhaul it. Next, I also got this for free, Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. This is a romance. I think it is an erotica. I'm not 100% sure, but I still do want to read this. I think it would be an interesting read, and I think it's one of those really famous romance books, but I don't need to own it. I know for sure the library has it, so if I feel like reading it, I can just go rent it. Next, I did downsize my Jane Austen shelf a little bit. I have multiple copies of all of her books pretty much, and I know I don't need to have multiple copies of all of them, so I ended up unhauling this copy of Sense and Sensibility. I've read all the books and I still have my big pretty hardcover of Sense and Sensibility. I had just bought this so I didn't have to carry around that copy when I was reading this, so I don't need to keep this forever. If I want to reread Sense and Sensibility, I'll just read my hardcover, or I can rent an audiobook. I really do like this book, but I kept some of my doubles because I have found really old copies. I have one from the 1960s of Emma, which I like, but this was printed in 2010. It's not exactly some fun vintage find, so I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul it. Then the other Jane Austen that I'm unhauling is Persuasion. I really love this cover. In fact, looking at it, I'm questioning my decision to unhaul it, but I'm trying to be strong. This is a UK printing, but it also is only from, let's see, 2006. Again, not some fun vintage find. I have a hardcover of Persuasion, so I don't need to keep this small paperback. The other Jane Austen I have is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is the Barnes & Noble classic. I don't actually really like the Barnes & Noble classic covers because I just don't really like that cover. I think I just got this again so I didn't have to carry around my hardcover when I was reading all the Jane Austen books, so I don't need this. Sort of on the same line as Jane Austen, I have Dreadfully Ever After and Dawn of the Dreadfuls by Stephen Hawkinsmith, which are the sequels to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I just don't think I need these. I don't think I'm ever going to read them. I enjoyed Pride and Prejudice and Zombies I don't think I need the continuations of that story. I would rather just read that one again or just watch the movie, to be honest. So I feel kind of bad because these were gifts, but I don't think I'm ever going to get to them, and like I forgot I even owned them. They were behind all my Jane Austen books, just like hiding there, so obviously they weren't super in the forefront of my mind. Next, I have a copy of Shatter by Tahara Mafi. I actually had a duplicate of this because I bought the box set on sale, and I had already owned this first one, so, and this isn't a book that I need to have 2 copies of. I'm not, like, I've only read the first book of the series. I'm not like super obsessed with it. Even if I was, I don't think I need 2 copies of the first one, and I like the box set better. Next, Every Day by David Leviathan. I got this so long ago, like back when it was like a big deal. I just don't think I'm ever gonna read it. It's an interesting idea, I guess. I just don't see myself ever actually picking it up. Next is 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. Looking at this again, I'm like, do I want to get rid of it? I think I will. So this is the sequel to 1,000 Pieces of You, which I really enjoyed, but I read it, God, like 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember it. I couldn't tell you what the characters' names are. And like if I haven't read the sequel by now, will I? I don't know. And even if I wanted to read the sequel, I'd have to go back and read the first one again. So I think I might just have to let go, even though these covers are so pretty, but I think this one's just gonna have to be an unhaul. Next, The Poetry of Emily Dickinson. I literally just bought this like a month or 2 ago. I read half of it. I didn't really like it. I don't think, I love the idea of Emily Dickinson. I just didn't really understand a lot of the poems, and I know there's a lot to be learned from these, but I didn't vibe with them, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of it. And if I ever want to pick up some Emily Dickinson poetry again, I know the library has plenty of editions that I could read, but this doesn't need to take up space on my shelf. Next is Will Grayson by John Green and David Leviathan. Also, it definitely says, is it Leviathan? I just say it like the monster in Supernatural, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced. It doesn't matter. This is an old John Green book, and I actually just got this for free, and now I'm thinking I'm never gonna read it. I don't know what it's about. And I feel like I'm not really, I love all the John Green books I have read, and I'll read what he puts out, but I'm not like obsessed with that genre, like the John Green genre, you know. It's different than like other contemporaries. I feel like it's very Persimmon Wallflower, John Green, that kind of vibe. I don't read a lot of those anymore, so I'm just gonna unhaul it. Next is the 50 Shades of Grey series. So 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed. I do enjoy this series. I think it is an entertaining read. I didn't hate it. I know they're not great writing, and it's not always great content, and there's a lot of like problematic things in this book series, but I had fun reading it. I thought it was entertaining, but I don't think I need to own it and have it on my shelves. If I ever truly feel like rereading these, I'll just rent them from the library. I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future. If anything, I would just want to rewatch the movies. So I'm just gonna go and unhaul these. I got these for free, so I don't feel too bad. Next, The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoy Jennifer E. Smith's books. I think they're adorable, and they always have such an interesting concept, and they often take place in such a short amount of time, which I think is a really interesting thing. I read this, I don't even know, a long time ago, years ago. I just don't think I need to own it on my shelf. It was a good book, but I'm not gonna like revisit it, so. Next is Victoria by Daisy Goodwin. I think realistically, I'm just not gonna be picking this one up anytime soon. I have never read like an adult historical fiction like this. I don't see myself anytime soon reading an adult historical fiction like this, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and unhaul it. Someone might enjoy this more than me. I love the idea of it, but I think I have to be in like a more focused mindset to pick something like this up, and I feel like this year is a mess and I just want to read, you know, vampire novels. So I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul it. Along the same lines, I'm going to unhaul The Virgin's Lover by Philippa Gregory. I do want to read some of Philippa Gregory's books. I think she writes so many interesting topics. I just don't think I'm going to get around to it right now. And this one isn't even like one of the favorites I want to read, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and unhaul it. Kind of move the camera, sorry. That is my unhaul. I hope you enjoyed seeing the books that I can no longer fit on my shelf. If any of these are like your favorite books, I mean, no offense, they just don't have room on my shelf and I don't see myself getting to them right away. So that is all. I hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!